So the Army has this thing called MedPros. It's pretty much just a system to make sure that we're all healthy and able to do our jobs. Ideally. Anyway, this past summer I was told that I had some checkups to get current with. Now, if you talk to anyone in the Army, they'll tell you that 90% of our job is just waiting on things. These checkups are no different. You go in, fill out a bunch of paperwork, and then wait an eternity until you're called back to get a single shot that takes 5 seconds. I'm not one for wasting time, but these are necessary and they're just inconvenient at the end of the day. And then there's dental. I have no idea why dentists make me so nervous. Maybe it's because they're taking your teeth to build their shrines to the tooth fairy. Maybe it's the fact that whenever you encounter one in the wild, their eyes lock onto your mouth. Hey buddy, my eyes are up here. I don't know, something about them just sends that shiver down your spine, you know what I mean? I walked into our dental clinic and sat in their chair that looks like some sort of medieval torture device, and while I'm sitting there waiting for the doctor, I hear someone do one of those little pain yells. You know, the one like you stub your toe and just go, ah! That one. It's more out of irritation than anything else, and I'm sure that someone just got poked by one of the dental picks or something, but in that moment, my mind was just like, that man is being tortured for information on his flossing history, and we're next. Before I could make a break for it, the doctor walked in, looked at me, and said, I took a look at your records, and you need to get your wisdom teeth taken out. 2 weeks later, I was sitting in an off-base dentist's office. After they took x-rays of my mouth in a really cool machine that looked a lot like the one that puts Iron Man's suit on, they took me into their office where another torture chair was waiting for me. After a mild episode of existential dread, I saw the x-rays that they took, and just look at those guys. I was feeling a little better about not using my expert-level land nav skills, otherwise known as Google Maps, to book it to the airport when the dentist came in. He said he needed to run an IV for the operation, which... okay, fair enough. But it raised some questions. What medication was in it? Would it knock me out, or would I be awake the whole time? I don't know why my mind went here, but as soon as I heard that he was going to be running an IV, I automatically assumed I was going to wake up somewhere missing my kidneys. And this was without even knowing what he was putting in it. It could have been just a normal IV with no medication just to keep me hydrated. I didn't know. I was just freaking out. While I was planning my escape, he decided to drop the IV in my arm, and he used a technique that I've never seen before. I'm a medic for the Army, so I've dropped quite a few IVs myself, and he was using an amazing technique to drop this IV where I didn't even feel it, and I was so distracted by trying to ask him how he did it that I completely forgot what I was worried about. As I was bombarding him with my million questions, the nurse came in and shoved a mask onto my face. But before I could use the combatives techniques that I don't know, I was out. The next thing that I knew, I was on my feet and the dentist was saying I did a good job. After that moment, I have literally no idea what I did the rest of that day, but when I came to my senses, I was eating ice cream out of the tub, which made me a bit uneasy. Aside from the fact that I had just eaten about 3,000 calories of just ice cream, I knew for a fact that I hadn't bought it before going to my appointment. Then I looked at my phone and got hit with a wave of embarrassment when I saw the text that I had sent out. I thank my lucky stars that it was just open to the family group chat, where I would just get made fun of it a little bit, because if I had sent it to anybody else that I know, I would have never lived that down. By nature, I'm a pretty self-critical person, so selfies are a huge no-no for me. I sent the cringiest selfies ever to have been taken, and in every single one of them, I was just sitting there drooling blood like an idiot, trying to look good, quote, for the ladies. Some guys I work with said they saw me driving my truck down the road to the grocery store the day that I got back to work, so I guess they should have taken my keys too. Even with all of this stuff that went wrong, there was still a silver lining in all this mess. You see, I had just started a semester the day before and figured I'd take a day off to let the medicine run its course and not say anything stupid. The day after my operation, I was sitting there, face the size of a beach ball, feeling miserable, and what did I see but a bunch of emails rolling in from my professors about my submissions. Apparently, in my haze, I decided homework couldn't wait, So I did the logical thing and completed 3 weeks worth of work. I ended up getting A's on all of it, so it turned out alright. I'm sure you're wondering how my family reacted to the selfies. They poked fun at me for a bit, but we all ended up having a good laugh about it later. In the moment, I was super embarrassed, but now that I'm looking back on it, it was kind of funny, and I'm glad that I still remember it because now I can tell you guys. Oh yeah, before I forget, I've got a pretty big field training exercise coming up, so I might be a little bit later on my next animation, but don't worry. It'll be a doozy for you to make up for it. Alright, I'll see you guys around.